Hey everybody, this is Retrokid Reviews. Wishing I could still do a real nerf, I guess Joel Miller or Last of Us loadout. But, yeah. Let's just get this out of the way. This is my overall thoughts of Season 1 and the finale for, HBO's Last of Us, series. Sorry for the new camera angles. Again, like I said, I have a new, I guess, table-mounted, iPhone stand, which is really helpful for the channel going forward. Like I said, I'm going to probably use it for like top-down stuff for like Nerf and whatever, and definitely for figure reviews because, like I said, I think last time on my Creed 3 review, I have Forge. I'm still mulling over what review to showcase him as a character. So I'm gonna do some Instagram posts for that. For the figure itself later in the week. So that being said, supplemental news out of the way for everyone who was waiting a bated breath for my thoughts on Oshima Sentai King Oger. It's great. It was an awesome premiere. I'm gonna wait for it's not episode 2 to drop so I could get a full thoughts on the premiere and like how the rest of the team is going to be introduced going forward. So Toku content will be a little bit of a pause, but we'll be back pretty soon. Didn't see Scream 6 yet. I'm still planning on my Dungeons and Dragons retro review for Iron One Thieves. I think this week is coming out or next week. I don't know which. March is a pretty busy month for content here, in quite a while. So with future announcements out of the way, let's get to my overall thoughts of season 1 of the Last of Us HBO series. It was good. I think I mentioned this last time when the first 3 episodes dropped a few weeks back, part 2. It was a really good faithful recreation of most of the game. The only big change is that they didn't do most of the core gameplay and stuck to mainly the cutscenes, which was the fan favorite thing people have thought and discussed and were divisive of when it comes to this week, ending wise, going forward for this and the sequel. We'll get to that when season 2 happens, whenever they announce it. Yeah, for cameos, I forgot to mention last time that Troy and Tommy's voice actor and Ashley Johnson herself are making appearances, but now that we're a week away from all of this in the back burner for some of these actors, I will say Troy Baker being James, speaking as a James, I didn't remember this guy's name NPC-wise in the first game. Was really good, very nuanced, and again, that's kind of the strength of the writing in Neil's case when it comes to him and Greg Mason's show runnings, that they want to show key moments in a different outlet. Because again, like I said, I never remember this NPC's name. He was just a random dude that David was with. I'm talking about the David episode first. Sam and Henry's episodes were very strong, and that's where Tommy's voice actor was in for most of those episodes. It was a very good showcase of like how QZ falls and how people just like grow from it, because in the game they were just random like raiders that just took over the town overnight, probably years ago, not like the day of. So again, it's a very nuanced performance there for that side of things. Again, for a lot of the weaker aspects there was in the game, got elevated a little better than you think. So go with that when you hear these episodes going forward. So let's get to Ash. Yeah, again, I'm just coming off of the finale. It just happened last night as of this recording, so my apologies in advance if this is spoilers. In 3, 2, 1. That Ashley Johnson cameoed as Ellie's mom for the beginning half of the final episode of Season 1. I won't explain into detail, but it does explain how Ellie is immune. It does explain how she basically got a lot of her core gear. This isn't like most I guess requel or like most legacy franchises where we just give you the thing and you go with it. It's like it's what she had on her and made the most sense at the time kind of thing when it comes to Ellie's character. And going to what I thought about the giraffe scene, it was one of the most heart-warming moments in the game. I'm happy it was recreated as much as they could. Also happy to say, if I remember the behind the scenes that dropped last night, turns out the giraffe was real. Everything else was blue screen. So again, a happy trade-off if anything. As for Bella and Pedro's performances for this episode, going forward for the finale, was very good. It mirrors like a bookend to like how Joel was cold and want to learn anything about Ellie, was way too vocal, way too happy, way too optimistic about our chances going forward through this series. And then seeing the exact opposite happen in this finale after the David episode was pretty jarring. Also, another reason why this took forever for me to do the back half and now the finale review is, surprise, my mom all people who never touched the games, never played a video game since, I don't know, the mid-80s, actually was very much involved, not involved, but very much not inspired. She likes the series. I'm trying to say it nicely in case she watches. Hi, Mom, by the way. Yeah, she was very invested into the show. There, now I get the terminology. Anyway, she was invested into the show, and she has not seen the finale yet. So I'm hopefully gonna post this after her reaction. So if it comes out on Wednesday as of this recording or whenever, that's mainly why I'm waiting for her reaction first, then mine. But going off of my reaction first off, it was good. It was a really strong finale. It is like, I think, but most of the back half of the season was 1-1 in the game. Only like a few core gameplay changes. Like I said, when we get the Left Behind episode, it was very much again like the game, except it missed like one thing, and that's really it. As for the Left Behind episode, since I have time to talk about that, wow, Riley's actor was amazing. I think she was in Missing that came out this year or last year, I don't know which. I think she did a bit in like either in Euphoria or James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. I'll remember that, probably in IMDb down below. So with that all said, my thoughts on the overall season, since I don't want to talk too much about the finale. For those who haven't seen the finale yet, if you know the game, you know what you're getting into. I'm surprised it was like under 50 minutes for a runtime, because it felt longer. Weird as it sounds, I know the show has been increasingly having less runtime. However, when I watched it live as of last night and probably the last couple of weeks, it felt like a 60-minute episode. It felt long to me. I don't know why. Maybe they were very conservative with their runtime. Maybe they were like a little bit like more not progressive, but like very forward thinking with the editing. I could be wrong there. Let me know in the comments. And rating. Where to start with the back half of the episodes? Almost near 10s. They're definitely in the 9.0 variety when it comes to the Sam and Henry episodes. David episode is an instant 10 because it is straight out of the game. There were like minor differences. The fact that Troy Baker came back as not just a cameo for like a guy that gets eaten by a clicker or whatever. No, like he is an integral part of David's like whole group, and it's very cool to see. I want to give the Left Behind episode before that a instant 10 because I was a big fan of the DLC at the time, and it is very cool to see most of like the mall done right, most of like how they had their last night having fun done right. Riley's actor was amazing. I hope she gets more work in the future personally. And like I said, throughout this entire review series, both Pedro and Bella did the best versions of like Alien Joel I've seen in a while. So much so that even Ashley herself on the companion podcast that I mentioned in the community tab, probably as after this, I think as it dropped, I think a day or two before this recording. Yeah, she did a great job just explaining that. Yeah, she did a great job. It's like one-to-one to me. It's like, it was a very, not nuanced, but like very familiar, and like, so she likes the idea of like passing it to her. That way she's not just her being one-to-one with Ellie going forward. How Ashley explained it in the podcast was a lot better than how I'm, I guess, gurgling out this information. Ultimately, should you see the show if you've never played the game? Yes, you really should. For those who have played the game, does this show motivate you finally to get Part 1's remake on the PS5? Probably. Again, I don't know. I can't make a full judgment call. That's more up to you personally. Me, though, I would like to see the core differences, because I know the big difference in Part 1's remake is that you get to have the crafting from Part 2, and I kind of want to see that going forward. And there is a lot of other differences. I think it's more stacked. I think the now defunct, like I said, X-Play review mentioned that you get a lot more options, there's more accessibility features, there's more creators commentary that they never really did in the first couple of refreshes going in the back, or in the PS4 era. So with that all said, my overall score for season 1 of The Last of Us is a 10. It's very much exactly how you thought this would get adapted. It could have been a lot of other things. I'm happy that Greg Mason was a fan of the game, was more importantly friends with Neil Druckmann and the crew from Naughty Dog. They did God's work, basically making sure this is one-to-one of the game, regardless of a few changes. Also, I have forgot a couple other cameos. I'll probably mention that in the spoiler section, probably on my NDD or TV list. Yes, for those who are new here, I try my best not to say that early on the year, and I kind of sort of did with my Creed 3 review. Go to that for final cards. So yeah, breaking curses aside, what did you think of the show in general? Did I spoil much of the finale? Please let me know in the comments down below. Did you sit through both the original game, Part 1's remake, or in what's most likely going to be Season 2's case, Last of Us Part 2, yeah, it's been a very divisive game to this day. However, I've came out 3 years later thinking, no, Neil had a good idea. We were just, like, overthinking things. It was just, like, a lot of people's fan theories went down a different path than a lot of other people were thinking. This is probably the nicest way I'm probably explaining Part 2's, I guess, non-controversies at this point. So, yeah, with that all being said, end cards finally come to my Japanese Spider-Man poster here to sub to the channel. Well, sir here to sub to the channel. Poster here to see my previous content, which was my Creed 3 review. Other hand here to my non-spoilers review of the finale. Yes, it's not Critical Role content for once. We're gonna get to episode 51 pretty soon, and oh boy, was that crazy. Anyway, that all being said, notification bell down below for future content of TV, movies, and March content in general. Like I said, review madness is definitely wild here in this house, and I am trying my best to keep it all together content-wise here for the channel. So with that all being said, take care, subscribe. This is Retrokid Reviews, and wow, that giraffe was really good. I can't believe that was real. I could have sworn that was CG. Like, what?